Welcome to Dr. Jester, and I'm gonna rant about... From bounding to comics, EA reveals Dead Space Remake will be updated for modern audiences. Well, this is relatively old news, a couple of days ago, but bounding into comics is covering it, so I'll cover it. Much of the dismay of players who wish to relive the survival horror title in all its gruesome and uncensored glory, EA has revealed that their upcoming remake of Dead Space will be updated in order to keep the game relevant to modern audiences. So basically, the modern audiences, and horror in this case, will be a bunch of white males chasing a very beautiful, fat, disabled, tiny, well, people McNugget, dwarf, black, woman Ixon, transgender, by the way, and chasing it in a patriarchal ship, clean, full of meritocracy and on time. They're going to chase her away. And that is pure horror. So, the beautiful, beautiful, fat, dwarf, disabled, transgender, black woman Ixon will fight those horrors like the hero Z is. That's the new Dead Space, the remaster, remake, the remake. It's horror, dude! Anyway, let's go. EA's intent to modify Dead Space was the first made public in a publication meet the team leading the remake of Dead Space. Blog post writing senior producer Philip Adushaw, creative director Roman Campus Riola, and art director Mike Yazigian spoke to their experience working on the upcoming remake. In a section of the post headline honoring the legacy, EA explained that Space Remake isn't a reboot, that is, it's not wholesale reimagining of the franchise. No. They're just updating the horror to make it more horrifying to the modern audiences. Which is exactly what I just painted. That may or may not be true, or just figment of my imagination mocking Dead Space and the idea of making it to modern audiences. Who knows? Maybe true. But it also is another remaster, which is mainly a higher resolution, faster running version of the exact same game. Instead, the post continues, it's a remake, rebuilding everything from the ground up in a new engine, while keeping and being respectful of what made the original so special. Don't worry. What made the original so special? The horror. And the only way to keep the horror is to actually bring on the white males chasing the independent, fat, ugly, land whale, disabled, transgender, dwarf, black woman Ixon out of the ship. That's pure horror. And you need to survive that meritocracy. Those white evil males. Really? Ooh, and then they misgender the poor little thing. Instead of saying the or they say she. And then call her land whale, land whale, land whale. And that makes her extremely triggered and makes her run away, and she cannot run away, she has no stamina. She trips, she falls, and she pants because she has no air. She has no air, she can't breathe because she's having a heart attack, and she dies, and then you have to... No, she cannot die. It's a game journalist type of game, so... She just respawns at the same place. There you go. Horror. The game horror. In one of the fastest contradiction recent memory, EA then claimed that each member of the team is just as insistent on what Philip calls the first pillar of the remake project, honoring the legacy of the original game. before immediately quoting Yazidian admission. Wait, didn't you just say Yazid? Copy editor! That the team would be doing away with some things that don't work. Oh, right. Exactly. I can already see it. The main source of inspiration is the original vision of Dead Space, the horror. Make sure you are following the story, the art direction, everything out of respect for the original game. Don't worry! What I said may or may not be true. Yeah, then we are taking the opportunity to also do away with some things that don't work to make sure the game stays relevant to modern audiences. But even that has to be done surgically. This contradiction in design philosophy was also echoed by Philippe, who asserted that what the fans want, what people expect out of the game, we want to be able to match that and deliver the game they want. And the thought of them confirming what we did right, that's a huge inspiration, he concluded. Well, I played the original Dead Space. I decided not to play Dead Space 3, and eventually I gave up playing Dead Space 2 because it was an absolute fucking nightmare trying to play with the FOV back in the day. I don't know if that has improved, new bots came out, somebody discovered a better method to deal with the FOV or something like that, but the FOV on a 1920 1080 monitor back in the day, before I changed the new monitor, now it's even wider. Anyway, it was nightmarish and I just couldn't stomach it, literally. It was making me dizzy with that very narrow FOV. And I ended up giving up. So now I'm wondering if Dead Space 2, if somebody made... I don't feel like it. Right now I need to find courage to bind my joystick to new binding schematics on Falcon, because I feel like flying on Falcon and flying on Taiwan and expel those damn communists out of the freedom-loving island. But first and foremost, I need to find courage to deal with the binding. I need to bind bank controllers into that, and that, my friends, is a nightmare in itself. Hey, that's a horror game, much more than what I am telling you about. About the very independent, powerful, stunning and brave, very stunning and brave, fat land whale, running through the corridors like a fat black dwarf, disabled transgender from white males. That's horror. Horror. Nightmare-inducing stuff. Trust me. Anyway, if you like this type of content, stay right here, /Dr. No, YouTube /Dr. Or if you prefer more exclusive spicy content, head to beachute.com/Dr. or minds.com/Dr. Which eventually I'll get to. This week has been quite eventful and full of surprises for me that I don't quite like. Well, I liked some of them, but not most of them. No, a lot of work that I should have been spent on writing a book. Either way, let's see. Yeah, right, I forgot. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell button. How could I forget the most important part of the video? My plugging and simping. No, not simping. Bagging, e-bagging. There you go. Anyway, see you guys on Monday. If there is anything new pumping up and the weekend, I will make a special video about it. So don't forget to hit the notification bell button if you want that. Otherwise, thank you, Jeremy Clarkson. So, on that bombshell, have a great fucking night.